How does a guy who became famous for playing a high school bad boy end up working with some of Hollywood's most respected directors? Jacob Elordi's journey is not what you think. He went from a teen heartthrob to a serious actor, but the path wasn't easy. In fact, there was a point where he was so broke after his first big movie that he was sleeping in his car. So, how did he turn it all around and become one of the most interesting young actors in the industry today? Jacob Elordi was born on June 26, 1997, in Brisbane, Australia. Growing up, he wasn't exactly the kid you'd expect to become a movie star. He was tall, lanky, and more interested in sports like rugby. Acting came into the picture in high school. He was in a school play, and something just clicked. He felt a connection to performing, a feeling that this was what he was meant to do. He even grew a mullet and put on an American accent for a year just to see if he could pull it off. That's dedication. His parents, John and Melissa, were always supportive of his dreams, even if they were a little unconventional. They saw the passion in his eyes. After finishing high school, Jacob knew he had to go where the action was. Hollywood. He packed his bags and moved to Los Angeles with very little money, but a whole lot of ambition. The early days were tough. He faced countless rejections. Casting directors would tell him he was too tall, standing at 6'5", which they said wouldn't work on camera. It was a constant struggle, but he didn't give up. His first small role was in a huge movie, Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead men tell no tales. If you blink, you'll miss him. He was an extra, uncredited, but for him, it was a massive deal. He was on a real movie set, seeing how it all worked. This small taste of the industry only made him hungrier. He kept auditioning, hoping for that one big break. And then it came. That break was a little teen romantic comedy on Netflix called The Kissing Booth. He was cast as Noah Flynn, the handsome, motorcycle-riding bad boy. The movie was a surprise smash hit. It exploded overnight, and suddenly, Jacob Elordi was a household name. He became an instant teen idol. Millions of people were following him on social media. You'd think this would be the dream, right? Well, for Jacob, it was complicated. While he was grateful for the opportunity, he started to feel trapped. He was being typecast as the perfect boyfriend, the muscular heartthrob. But he wanted more. He had dreams of being a serious actor, like his idols Marlon Brando and Heath Ledger. He feared that the kissing booth would define his entire career. He even considered quitting acting altogether. The sudden fame was overwhelming, and he wasn't sure if this was the life he really wanted. Right after filming the first kissing booth, he hit a low point. The movie hadn't come out yet, and the money he had made was gone. He was practically homeless, crashing on a friend's couch and sometimes even sleeping in his 2004 Mitsubishi in the Hollywood Hills. He had about $400 to $800 left in his bank account. It was a scary and uncertain time. He thought he might have to pack it all up and go back to Australia. But then he got another call. This time, it was for an HBO series called Euphoria. The role was Nate Jacobs, a character who was the total opposite of the charming Noah Flynn. Nate was dark, complex, and deeply troubled. This was the kind of challenging role Jacob had been waiting for. He poured everything he had into the audition and landed the part. Euphoria changed everything. The show was a critical success, and Jacob's performance was singled out for praise. People saw a completely different side of him. He proved he wasn't just a pretty face. He had real acting talent. Playing Nate allowed him to explore the darker side of human nature and show his range. He was finally being seen as the serious actor he always wanted to be. But here's the tricky part. While filming Euphoria, he was still contractually obligated to make 2 more kissing booth movies. So he was flying back and forth, playing the lovable Noah Flynn one day and the terrifying Nate Jacobs the next. He has been very open about how difficult this was. He felt like he was selling out his artistic integrity by doing the teen movies, but he knew he had to honor his commitment. It was a strange balancing act, but he got through it. If you are enjoying this story about Jacob's incredible journey, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We dive deep into the stories of your favorite stars, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Your support helps us keep making these videos. After the Kissing Booth trilogy ended, Jacob made a conscious decision to be very selective about his roles. He turned down parts that were similar to Noah Flynn and actively sought out projects with respected filmmakers. He wanted to build a legacy, not just chase popularity. He started working with some of the most acclaimed directors in the business. He starred in Priscilla, directed by the legendary Sofia Coppola. In the film, he took on the monumental task of playing Elvis Presley. This wasn't the singing, dancing Elvis we all know. It was a quieter, more intimate portrayal of the man behind the myth. Jacob did extensive research, reading biographies and watching old interviews to capture Elvis's unique voice and mannerisms. His performance was praised for its subtlety and humanity. He showed the vulnerability of a global icon. Then came Saltburn, a dark comedy directed by Emerald Fennell. He played Felix Catton, a wealthy and effortlessly charming university student. On the surface, Felix seemed like another rich, popular guy, but the role had layers of complexity. Jacob brought a magnetic quality to the character, making you understand why everyone was so drawn to him. Saltburn became a cultural phenomenon, and once again, Jacob was at the center of the conversation, proving he could handle any genre. Through all this success, Jacob has managed to stay grounded. He's famously private and tries to stay away from the Hollywood scene. He is not a big fan of social media and has spoken about the pressures of being constantly watched and judged. He prefers a simpler life, reading books, taking photos with his film cameras, and spending time with his dog. He's often seen at flea markets or bookstores, just being a regular guy. This desire for a normal life is a big part of who he is. The fame that came with the kissing booth was intense. He went from being an unknown actor to having millions of followers overnight. He felt like his life was no longer his own. Every time he went out, he was photographed. His relationships were scrutinized. So, what about his financial success? All these hit movies and shows have certainly paid off. It was a lot to handle, and it made him realize that fame wasn't the goal. The work was the goal. As of 2024, Jacob Elordi's net worth is estimated to be around $4 million. He made a good salary from the Kissing Booth movies and reportedly earned even more for his role in Euphoria. His work in films like Priscilla and Saltburn has also added to his wealth. But for Jacob, the money seems to be a byproduct of his passion, not the driving force. He reinvests in himself and his craft, choosing roles based on artistic merit rather than the paycheck. What's so compelling about Jacob is his honesty. He's not afraid to admit that he struggled, that he hated the box people tried to put him in. He talks about his anxieties and the challenges of fame in a way that is very refreshing. He once said in an interview that he hopes his career is a long one, full of a wide variety of roles. He doesn't want to be remembered for just one thing. His journey is a lesson for anyone who has ever felt misunderstood or typecast. He refused to let other people's opinions define him. He stayed true to his own vision for his career, even when it was the harder path. He turned down the easy money and the simple roles to chase something more meaningful. And that's what makes him so much more than just a Hollywood heartthrob. He's an artist who is dedicated to his craft, and he's just getting started. From sleeping in his car to starring in critically acclaimed films, Jacob Elordi's story is one of resilience and artistic integrity. He fought against this stereotype and carved out a unique path for himself in an industry that loves to put people in boxes. He proved that you don't have to choose between being a commercial success and a respected actor. You can be both, as long as you're willing to fight for it. What do you think is the most impressive part of Jacob Elordi's career so far? Was it his breakup role in Euphoria, or his transformation into Elvis in Priscilla? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.